Hey everybody, welcome back to Reissued. My name is Andrew. This week I was feeling kind of festive, and so I thought I would put together a couple of holiday wreaths made of stuff that I already had lying around the house. So these are going to be kind of cool, designy, geometric wreaths, sexy Christmas, if you will. One is going to be made out of repurposed soda cans, and the other is going to be made out of coffee stirrers. So let's jump on in. Alright, so for the first wreath, we're going to be using some soda cans. You'll need 10 cans total, but you might want a couple extras. It's taken me a while to figure this out, and some cans were casualties in the process, so maybe a few extra cans. I also have on hand a really sharp pair of scissors, but you could also use like an awl, or a screwdriver maybe, just something you want to be able to puncture the can with. I also have some like kitchen shears, really heavy duty type of scissors that'll be cutting the cans with. I also have a hot glue gun. I'm gonna plug that in a minute. And then I also have standard kitchen knife and a little measuring device of some kind. A measuring tape should work fine. So that's everything that's needed for the first wreath. I'm gonna go ahead and get started here. Firstly, for the cans, we're just gonna end up using the part you can see sort of in between where the can is flat. We want to take everything else away. So I'm gonna start by puncturing the can right here at the top with my sharp scissors. Also, I'm gonna go ahead and put a disclaimer in here. These cans are super sharp, and so you're gonna wanna be careful with them. I'm not using any sort of protective gear today, glasses or gloves. I probably should be, I just don't have those things on hand right now. But if you're doing this at home, please wear those or just be super careful. Yeah, so now I'm gonna go into that hole with my scissors and I'm just gonna cut all the way around here. I wanna stay further out than this part, and I found that the best way to do this is actually to cut little diagonal lines. This part is gonna be pretty jagged no matter what you do, so I think cutting those diagonals really specifically just helps the can to open up a little bit. You can see sort of where the can is flat and then starts to curve. I'm being really careful not to cut past that line. That's where I'm gonna end up cutting my finished line, so I don't wanna cut in this way and make that too jagged. All right, top's removed, I'm gonna throw that away. So I rinsed my cans out beforehand. I definitely spilled water all over myself just now. Yeah, you should probably wash them before and let your cans dry. I didn't do that. So now I'm gonna cut a straight line down. I like to cut right along the little nutrition facts line just because you can see there's a pretty straight line happening there. And again, I'm cutting down past that place where the curve drops off. I'm gonna make a little cut this way just to open it up and then cut around the other way. Alright, toss that as well. So now we're just gonna clean up the lines here. I'm gonna start at the bottom. This is where it starts to get a little tricky to handle. I'm gonna cut right at the apex of where that curve happened. This one is a little undefined, so it's harder to follow. I'm just gonna do my best here. Now we're gonna do that same process here along the top. This line is a little bit easier to follow. All right, so now everything is relatively flat and rectangular. So now we're gonna prep all the cans like this. As we're cutting along the bottom here, you want to keep these lines as straight as possible. What becomes difficult to handle and what gets sharp and dangerous is when the lines are super jagged, but if you can get a pretty clean edge, it's a lot less prone to sticking yourself or stabbing yourself or anything like that. Okay, so now we're gonna start the folding process. The first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna fold it in half this way with the label on the outside. I'm not pressing super hard on this crease. If you crease it too much, when you open it again, it can have a tendency to wanna break. I know that I have a couple that are breaking here in the corner. So we just want to find the center mark. We're not really looking to crease that one too much. So I'm going to open that up and press that flat with the label facing up. And then we're going to take these across to the corner along that center line. These corners can be a little tough to fold sometimes. What I'm gonna do is put my knife in there just to keep that fold happening, and then try to press. Sometimes I even go in with my scissors. Oh, this is so not safe. And then we're gonna go in with the knife and just press along. Not my best corner, but that's okay. And then we're gonna take this side across and make a little point here. That side did a little better. All right, now we're gonna go in right along here and just cut off any excess to square things off. Now we open up those creases again. The key thing that I find here is to try to line things up and then start your crease in the center. The corners are the most difficult part to crease correctly, and if you start the crease wrong, there's basically no going back. Like once that crease is there, it's so hard to get it to adjust. So the best strategy there is to really line things up, make sure you really have it in place and keep this just as a loop. And then once you feel confident, hold this in place and then press starting in the center. And then work your way out toward the corners. All right, we're gonna reinforce this crease in the center. And then we're gonna cut right from the center here all the way up to the apex. On both sides. Now these two pieces are gonna face each other. And we're gonna pinch that right up against this side. All right, I'm gonna leave this one for now, fold the rest, and then I'll come back in with the glue gun. All right, we're back. Glue gun is heated up, ready to go. Basically, we're just gonna go in here, place the glue down, pull this up and over, and then squeeze it into place like so. The only thing to be careful for here is sometimes this wants to slide a little bit past. And once that glue is in there, it sticks surprisingly well. So you just wanna make sure everything is nice and lined up there as we go in with the glue. And now I'm just gonna sit this flat on the table. We want this to sit flat, so we're just gonna press all of the corners, reinforce those creases until we get it laying as flat as possible. And we repeat. Okay, so I have 10 of these prepped and ready to go. I drew up a little diagram here about how they will lay out and sort of intersect. I think it actually is gonna end up with this being the top, but we are going to cut notches in each part and make them fit together. So I'm gonna start here at the top of the diagram. I have it so this piece is gonna fit inside of that piece. So in order to make that happen, this is where my ruler comes into play. I'm gonna measure 1.5 inches up right here from the edge. I'm gonna hold my finger there, and I wanna cut straight up from the bottom along that line. I'm gonna fold that back. And this distance here is now 1 inch. So I'm gonna measure 1 inch over here. I'm gonna fold right along that line. So now I have 2 tabs that I can use to glue, and this one will fit inside. I'm gonna go in with my glue. I'm gonna do just this bottom tab first. Sit flat, push just like that, pull it flat. So they should be a straight line at the bottom here. And I'm pinching right here on the inside. And now I also want to do the same back here, and I'm lining up these edges. You can see where the bottom is, so it will lay flat. Next piece is piece 3, and it's gonna fit up in here this way. Now, as we lay out the pieces, we wanna pay attention to where it's already doubled. If I put this piece this way, that's a place where there's already a tab, so the next piece wouldn't be able to fit up in there in that spot. So I'm actually gonna turn it over, and that will make sure that it's only a single layer place where we're gonna insert the next piece. So I'm gonna do the same process here. I think it makes more sense just to measure that 1 inch over to start. This is the part of the process where I start to question everything. This could be really ugly. So I'm gonna put these 4 pieces together, and then I will try to attach everything together at these seams here. Okay, top and bottom are made. Now we're gonna link the 2 together. I feel like this is gonna be a little bit hard, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so everything is assembled. I'm just gonna try to work on creasing things properly to make it lay as flat as possible, and then I'm gonna get all the little hot glue strings off of it and then see where we are. All right, let's patch that. A little bit of excess here. Let's see if we can't just cut a little thing here. Better. Ugh, hot glue strings are the worst. Not bad at all. All right, on to project number 2. I have a circle of cardboard that's from a pizza box, and I have my wood coffee stirrers. I have my hot glue gun hot and ready to go. I also am gonna grab a larger measuring tape and some sort of marker. I'm gonna make some marks on this. All right, I'm back with the brown paper bag. I'm gonna cut a chunk out of it and fold it in all the directions. It's not really important that I have the circle. It's important that I have the equidistant spokes on the circle, right? Let's fold this in half this way first. Why is everything so hard to fold? Fold, please. Fine, fold it right there. That would be the center mark. So I fold it in half, and then in quarters, and then in eighths, and then in sixteenths. I end up with my little wheel of fortune. And so now the important part is going to be to measure equally from the inside to the outside, which I can do very easily. So this point here, let's just say that we're going to make it 5.5 inches. And now I'm going to go back in and tape with my sticks right at all of those points. I think just on the 8th point actually. And I'm rejecting any curved sticks here. Straight sticks only. So I think I have a plan here. I'm gonna line the top edge up with this mark, and then the bottom goes wherever it sits on top. And we'll glue that in place first. That all the way around. So this is super weak and flimsy now, but the theory is that as I start to build things up and make more connections, that it will get stronger and stronger. So this is definitely something to be precarious, but I'm gonna take it off of the sheet. And you can see there's some places here, like that overlaps, but is not glued down yet. So I think I'll be able to get a few more connections that haven't been glued yet. So I'm just gonna reinforce each of those little connections. I think it would look more complete if, there it is. So there's no loose ends hanging out now, everything is closed off. I'm wondering what would happen if I started to build. I think building this three-dimensionally could be really cool. A little bit here. All right, that's super precarious right now, but I think I can build on it and make that work.